Medoc Experience Players.
The year is 1926. Prohibition has been underway in America for 6 years now, but is hardly slowing anyone down. Speakeasies and underground liquor sales are through the roof, and in many cases, people are drinking more than they ever did when it was legal. Our friend, Roland Hazard, is one of those people. He simply cannot stop drinking. Despite the fact he knows it is killing him, he still drinks to no end. Roland is a very wealthy businessman and is willing to do whatever it takes to relieve his drinking. He decided the best thing for him to do was to travel to Zurich, Switzerland, and seek the advice of the acclaimed psychiatrist, Dr. Carl Jung.
Dr. Young, I'm sorry I'm late. I just can't get used to how y'all operate around here.
It's okay, Roland. Can I get you something? Drink of water, cup of coffee, maybe a cup of coffee?
Return the page. No, thank you. I appreciate you just being willing to meet me again. Things aren't getting any better.
Sit down. Is it your drinking again, Roland?
Oh my gosh, I'm slowly killing myself, and I have no idea why. I definitely don't have any idea what to do about it. Yeah, of course I'm still drinking. Sun up to sundown. I don't understand it. I'm successful at everything else in life. I'm wealthy enough to be here, first class in Zurich. I can do anything I set my mind to. I just can't stop drinking. I can't even figure out why I'm drinking. I've got to have some help, Doc. Is there anything you can do for me?
Roland, you have the mind of a chronic alcoholic. I'm not sure there's much that can be done for you. But once in a while, I have seen people find a solution and quit drinking. But most of the time, they stop for a period of time and continue on. Or they just go straight on into the asylums, jails, or the grave.
So, some do recover. Is that right? How? I'll do anything, Doc. I'll pay any amount of money. The cost is no issue. I must have help. Please, Dr. Young, please help me.
Or rarely, very rarely, some have obtained what's considered a vital spiritual experience to overcome their drinking. But again, this is extremely rare.
A vital spiritual experience. How do I have one of those?
That's a good question. Well, the reality is, I don't have an answer for you. The best you could do is to start hanging out with spiritual people, maybe start reading some spiritual literature, and start acting in a spiritual way and try to adopt that way of living. And maybe you too can have one.
Well, thanks, Doc. No one anywhere has been able to offer me as much help as you have. Thank you so much. I'm willing to do anything.
You're welcome, Roland.
After having this conversation with Dr. Jung, Roland began taking on a newfound spiritual life. He found a group of people seeking a similar spiritual experience called the Oxford Group. Part of the mission of the Oxford Group was helping others. Our friend, Abby Treat, is in need of help as he awaits his hearing.
Hey. Oh dear. Hey, honey. Oh, my. Oh. Well, come on this way.
Abby, how are you?
Hey! Roland!
Yes.
What are y'all doing here? Oh my God!
We came thinking that we might be able to help you get out of this mess you got yourself in.
I sure do appreciate you caring and wanting to help me, but I'm not sure if there's anything you can do for me at this point. You got any liquor?
Oh, we can help you. We got way more than that. I'm going to sit down and talk to you about it.
All rise. Oh, Lord. Maybe see.
I'm so glad you're here.
Well, Mr. Thatcher. I read your files. You are quite the character, let me tell you. I've seen some extravagant cases come through here, but this one I will never forget. First, you drove your father's Packard right into your neighbor's house. It says here you rolled your windows down and asked them for a cup of coffee as they stood there in awe. Then, if that wasn't enough, you were painting the house and got annoyed with the noises, with some pigeons they were making. So you decided to pull out your firearm and you began to shoot at the birds. Now, Mr. Thatcher, I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say about yourself.
Oh, yes, Judge. Your Honor, I understand these events sound bizarre. The actions of a crazy man, but I assure you, I'm not crazy. I'm a kind and decent man who has made some mistakes. I know I don't deserve to be let off the hook for these things you speak of, but please don't lock me up and throw away the key. I'm not crazy, I promise.
This paperwork here has some pretty strong arguments that you are, in fact, crazy. It would be hard for me to completely dismiss that what I'm reading here just because you're here telling me today that you're not crazy.
Your Honor. I'd like to say something on behalf of my good friend, Mr. Thatcher.
Who are you?
My name's Roland Hazard. And I'm here with the Oxford Group. I represent the Oxford Group. And I got two of my very good friends with me. I got Sabre and I got Shep. And we're here from the Oxford Group, and we got something to petition the court about. Abby looks like and acts like he may be crazy. Well, I can assure you he is not. He is suffering from the same thing that we suffered from, a drinking problem that we could do nothing about until the Oxford Group showed us a solution that led us to a better life. If you will you give Abby, Mr. Thatcher, one more chance and turn him over to the Oxford Group and to us, and we are confident that we can help him lead a profitable life.
Interesting. And the good that you all do. Given the fact that Mr. Thatcher has a relatively uneventful life, minus these two horrendous acts, I'm going to release him to your care. But if he backs up with this behavior, it will surely mean the mental institution for you. you understand what I'm saying to you, Mr. Thatcher?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Loud and clear. I'm so thankful you were willing to give me another chance, and I promise, this will be the last time you see me under these circumstances.
I hope so. You are free to go, Mr. Thatcher, but only under the supervision of your friends in the Oxford group. Case dismissed.
After being under the supervision of Roland Hazard and Shep Cornell, some changes started to occur with Ebby. Much like Roland, Ebby wanted to pass on this new gift of sobriety he had found, and he knew just who needed it. His old drinking buddy, Bill Wilson. Ebby first talked to Bill's wife Lois over the phone to tell her what was going on and why he wanted to meet with Bill. She was all for it. Then, in November 1934, Ebby Thatcher went to visit Bill Wilson, and neither of them knew how much of an impact on the world this encounter would eventually have.
Lois! Lois! Hey, home! Honey! I'm drunk!
Might as well try this stuff out before Evie gets here. Wouldn't want him to drink something I wouldn't serve myself. Oh, that's rough. Drink fast. Hey! How are you, old friend?
Bill, it's so good to see you. So good to lay eyes on you.
Debbie, you look good. You got a glow about you.
No.
What's gotten into you?
How are you?
I'm good. Have a seat. Don't mind the rug there. Come on out of the cold.
Thank you, Bill. I've been living a much healthier lifestyle recently.
Yeah.
I've actually made quite a few changes.
Yeah, tell me about it. Why don't you have a little drinksy?
Well, that's just the thing, Bill. It almost did kill me. That is the biggest change I have made.
What is?
I quit drinking.
What? You kidding me? You joking?
No, Bill, I'm being dead serious. I don't drink anymore, and I love it.
Really? The world's gotten into you.
religion.
Good God, man! You are being serious. Knew something was different about you. You used to drink like a fish, and now nothing. You just stopped? Cold turkey?
No, it actually took a lot of time and help. I had a hearing recently, and they were going to put me away in a mental institution for some of the things I had done. But some people from the Oxford group came to my rescue. The judge released me into their care, and they helped me get over my obsession to drink. I would like to do for you what they did for me, Bill. I would like to show you how wonderful life is without drinking.
What in the world is the Oxford group? Why would I want to quit drinking? It's the only thing in the world that keeps me hanging on, Abby. The world is bad, I'm having trouble. Turn to alcohol. It makes me feel better. Gives me an escape for all the problems the world tosses at me.
You know, Bill, you don't realize it's the drinking that is creating these problems. The Oxford group is a gathering of people looking to live a spiritual life. It was started by a man named Frank Buckman, and it has several principles that one can live by, and if practiced in their daily life, they will gain a higher quality of living, higher than that drink.
Well, beats all I've ever saw. Going to join the cult? Want me to come join, drink the Kool-Aid? Huh? Silly group, I think I'll stick to this.
Bill, I'm trying to help you. I know what you're going through, and I know where it will lead. I wish you would just give it a chance and see that I'm not lying to you. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Abby, old friend, you know I care for you. Want the best for you. I'm glad you joined this silly little cult. But I'm not buying what you're selling. No, thank you.
I love you.
It's now 1935 in Akron, Ohio. Bill kept drinking after his visit with Abby, but there had been a seed planted that Bill didn't even notice. After a month or two, Bill's drinking became so bad that he was admitted into a hospital under the care of Dr. Silkworth. While in the hospital, something happened to Bill. He had one of those vital spiritual experiences that Dr. Jung had told Roland about. Everything changed for Bill after that. He sobered up and started attending some Oxford group meetings. While on a business trip in Ohio, Bill had a deal turn out badly. He was staying in the Mayflower Hotel with just enough money to have a couple of drinks. He was worried about his sobriety and knew the best thing he could do would be to help another drunk in order to save himself. He found a directory in the phone booth and searched through a list of church members until he came across the name Henrietta Seiberling. He explained to her what was going on and asked if she knew of any drunks he could speak to. She knew just the person, Dr. Bob. The only problem was Dr. Bob was so drunk that he wouldn't be able to meet anyone until the next day. Once he sobered up the next day, state to meet with Bill Wilson.
That must be them. One moment. Hello. Come on in. It's so good to see you.
I just want you all to know that I'm a very busy man. I have appointments this afternoon, and I will only be able to talk for 15 minutes. Oh, hush, Bobby. Hey, Henrietta. Good to see you. And you must be Bill.
Hello, Ann.
Yep, I'm Ann Smith, and this is my husband, Robert. You can call him Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob. Very nice to meet you, Dr. Bob.
I'm so glad you were able to make it. Bill has been such a nice guest since he got here. It's truly a privilege to meet him and to be able to introduce you to.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for being willing to meet me.
We are more than happy to make this drive. Henrietta, why don't we go into the kitchen so these dudes can talk?
That sounds lovely. Make yourselves at home, you two, and please let me know if I can bring you anything.
We surely will, Mrs. Seamerling. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Well, Bill, what have you got for me?
I've got a solution, Bob. Look, I know you don't want to beat around the bush, so I won't. I was nothing more than an old rum hound from New York. Drank as much and as often as I possibly could. I drank so much it began to affect me financially, physically, emotionally. I couldn't hold it together at work. At one point in my life, had seen some success on Wall Street, and I began to lose several very good deals, which could have meant a lot of money for me because I couldn't stay sober. Caused a lot of conflict in my home with my wife. She hated the way I would act when I would get nice and tight, boiled as an owl. My life was horrible. I was becoming a full-fledged bum. But such is not the case anymore, Robert. I'm a new man.
Well, I'm listening. What happened?
It all began when a friend of mine came to my house, much like I'm doing for you right now. He explained to me that he was a problem drinker, knew a better way of life. I told him to buzz off. He kept drinking like good alcoholics do. Things got much worse than they had ever been. I was admitted to the hospital and was having the worst withdrawals any man has ever experienced. Then out of nowhere, the Lord himself shineth upon me from that moment, and I haven't felt the need to drink since.
So you're saying I need to meet the Lord and he'll help me stop drinking?
Not quite. I would recommend you asking him to help you, though. You see, once you know that you have a problem, you can begin to stop. Then, after a while, you most certainly have some cravings. It is at this point you must help another drunk like yourself to get sober in order to keep your sobriety.
So that's why you're here alongside the dog of my understanding?
That's exactly why I'm here, Bob. I was having some serious cravings at the hotel after a deal had gone south. No, if I spent any more time white-knuckling it through the night, I would most certainly go right back to drinking. But I've been sober 5 months now, and I don't want to lose that. So I desperately sought out another drunk and his dog, like me, to find me.
Well, I suppose I have been drinking somewhat heavily here recently. Or maybe a year or two. What the hell, who am I kidding? I've had a problem drinking for years. It has interfered with my schooling, my work, my marriage. I want to stop, but I can't.
Yes, you can, Bob. I have a feeling you not only stop, but you and I have been put together for a reason.
You are the first person I've talked to about my drinking that has any idea in the world what they're talking about. I'm willing to do anything it takes at this point. Drinking has taken me all the way to the bottom, and I'm ready to start climbing back up. Maybe even start helping others.
think once we get you and your dog dried out, Bob, there's a good chance you and I will help thousands, millions of drunks, Bob.
Well, Bill, it sounds like you know what I'm going through. Why don't we give this a chance? Maybe you and I have been brought together by divine intervention.
Even though Dr. Bob told Bill he could only stay for 15 minutes, the two of them ended up sitting there talking for hours, building the foundation for what is now known Alcoholics Anonymous. They knew the next step was to carry this message, so Dr. Bob called up to Akron City Hospital to see if they had any alcoholic cases. They had one in mind for him. The man had been a patient there 4 times prior for excessive drinking, was experiencing DTs, and had just blackened the eyes of one of the nurses. Bill and Bob knew this was their man. So on June 28, 1935, they went to go see him.
Nurse! You know you can't keep me in here. I'm an important person. I have affairs to attend to. Hello? Nurse! Is anyone listening? Whoa. Who are you two? FBI? CIA? Huh? Speak up. I've done nothing wrong. I'm innocent.
I know you're innocent, Bill. My name's Bill. My confidant, Dr. Bob. We're here today because we know exactly what you're going through.
You know exactly what I'm going through.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that I was drinking as heavily as I possibly could. I had no hope and planned on living that way for the rest of my years. It wasn't until my friend Bill here showed up with a solution. Now I am happily sober, and I hope never to pick up another drink for the rest of my life.
You mean to tell me you came to tell me how to stop drinking? Everybody knows how to quit drinking. I do it all the time. I haven't had a drink since I checked into this place. But I sure could use one right now.
We're talking about long-term sobriety, Bill. I haven't had a drink in over 6 months now. Neither has Dr. Bob and his dog in about 6 days. As long as I've gone without getting well organized in years. It might seem impossible, but it isn't. I'm so glad that someone brought me the very same message we're bringing you. Changed my life.
You are going to kill yourself if you stay on this path. I looked at your chart, and you're not too far from death, my friend. You might not believe us right now, but we're the only thing you've got.
This is the 4th time I've had to check into this place because of this. I'm a good man. I don't know what happens to me. I take 1 drink, then 2, then 3, then 4. Next thing you know, I'm off to the races. can't control how much I drink, and I can't guarantee where I'm going to end up once I get started.
You know, my friend, we've both been where you are. You're not alone anymore. There's a way out of this vicious cycle, and both of us have found it. We want you to join us and become the third member of what we are calling Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a program designed to help people like us get sober and stay sober. Once we've achieved sobriety of our own, then we are challenged to try and give this gift to others in need.
Come on, Bill, what do you say? You've got nothing to lose. Why don't you walk with us?
I don't know what to say. I've never heard of anything like this. But I can't continue on the way I've been. I need to do whatever I can to stay out of institutions such as this place. Okay, you got it. I'm in. Where do I sign?
Well, I suppose that makes 3 of us now.
Great job, Drew.
I swear I haven't been drinking. The year is 1950, and we are in Cleveland, Ohio, for AA's very first international convention. AA has grown to over 100,000 recovered alcoholics worldwide. As Bill Wilson likes to say, AA is all grown up. Everything is going much better than ever imagined, and the 2 co-founders couldn't be more proud. Unfortunately, our friend, Dr. Bob, was diagnosed with cancer and was forced into retirement. A big part of the reason that Bill Wilson chose Cleveland, Ohio for the first international convention is so that Dr. Bob could be there. Everyone was excited knowing both of the co-founders would be present to speak, and many were worried it would be Dr. Bob's last major public appearance.
My name is Dr. Bob, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Dr. Bob.
I get a big thrill out of looking over a vast sea of faces like this, with a feeling that possibly some small thing that I did a number of years ago may have played an infinitely small part in making this meeting possible. I also get quite a thrill when I think that we all had the same problem. We all did the same things. We all get the same results in proportion to our zeal and enthusiasm and stick-to-itiveness. If you'll pardon the injection of a personal note at this time, let me say that I have been in bed 5 of the last 7 months, and my strength hasn't returned as I'd like, so my remarks of necessity will be brief. There are 2 or 3 things that flashed into my mind on which it would be fitting to lay a little emphasis. One is the simplicity of our program. Let's not louse it up with all the Freudian complexes and things that are interesting to the scientific mind but have little to do with our actual AA work. Our 12 steps, when simmered down to the last, resolve themselves into 2 words: love and service. We understand what love is, and we understand what service is. So let's bear those 2 things in mind. Let us also remember to guard that erring member, the tongue. And if we must use it, let's use it with kindness and consideration and tolerance. And one more thing. None of us would be here today if somebody hadn't taken the time to explain things to us, to give us a little pat on the back, to take us to a meeting or two, to do numerous little kind and thoughtful acts on our behalf. So let us never get such a degree of smug complacency that we're not willing to extend or attempt to extend to our less fortunate brothers that have helped us, been so beneficial to us. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, old friend. My name is Bill Wilson. I'm a grateful alcoholic. It's good to be with you here in Cleveland. It's a rough looking bunch we got here. A few people. We're all here for the same reason. We're propelled to this society by the threat of death itself by alcoholism. But when we have acquired a little grace and some of the mist has passed from our eyes, we find ourselves in a new world. We also find that we're faced with immense responsibilities for our own growth and development, for the welfare of our group, for the welfare of AA as a whole, for better homes, better relations, for the world around us. We're met with all these vast responsibilities, and of course, we recoil and we rebel. But, little by little, prodded from behind by John Barleycorn, and drawn by the love we feel here, and by the love of God, we pick up the tab for a little more responsibility. Sometimes we pick up these tabs rather unwillingly, because it seems the right thing to do. But finally, we conform to these principles and their practice in all our affairs, because this is really what we want for ourselves. Not just because John Barleycorn is going to kick us off if we don't conform. Not just because the AA community says they are right, but because we want them for ourselves. My mind goes back to the early days of AA, and I think how valuable to us is the sense of history. But, like all things of value, it can be misused. Let us not suppose that we have all the requisites, else the past will lay a dead hand on us. Thank you, and have a blessed evening.